Okay, so here's I guess a surprise video for you guys. Over the last week, I watched the anime of Haikyuu. Now, I'm gonna just sort of briefly talk about my opinion on this particular anime. I have since as of this recording, I have actually gone on into the manga. I'm at chapter 91. So I am in the process of catching up in the manga, and when I'm done, I will start reviewing it weekly or whenever the frequency of uploads is. I think it is weekly though, from what I looked. And when I catch up, I will not. The first review I will be doing is the week after I catch up. So in other words, let's say I catch up at chapter 170, uh, and chapter 171 is going to come out in like 5 days. I'm just gonna wait till 171 to get the chapter review over with. But for now, let's talk about the anime. Now, the anime is right now. I'm enjoying the fuck out of Haikyuu. I enjoyed the anime very very much. I did not watch the OVA just for reference. I'm just talking about the 25 episodes that are there in reference to the actual story. So let's break it down a little bit. Let's talk about the plot a little bit. Now the plot is you know I think it's kind of same-ish compared to other sports manga, but that's fine. That's absolutely fine. Like in every sports anime and manga, everyone wants to be the best. They want to be the number one in Japan, or at least in the prefecture. No, I don't care. It's fine. It works. There's no reason to change that. They're like, we want to be second in Japan. We don't want to be first. Ah, oh, those damn firsts. No, everybody wants to be first. Everyone wants to win. And so the basic plot is fine being the same as, say Kuroko no Basket and Slam Dunk or whatever else, like Prince of Tennis, whatever other sports manga or anime you see. They all want to be the best in Japan. It makes sense. There's no reason to criticize it. There's no reason to praise it. So no points gained or lost there. It's fine. It works. So just do it. Now we'll talk about the basic goals of say Hinata, Kageyama, Asahi, uh, Sawamura, Daichi Sugawara. Um, What's that guy's name? The Hiroshima, the gangster guy, the Kura guy. Can't remember his name all of a sudden. I don't know why. They have similar names. I think that's why. And even I'll even talk briefly about Shimuzu Kyoko. Oh, Nishinoya. I forgot about him. Can't forget about him. Um, I think it's like I still can't remember his name. I'll look it up. Probably. Probably not. Um, so no, I'll look it up. Let's talk about we'll talk about some of the lesser important characters first, and then we'll talk about the major characters, aka um, Hinata and Kageyama. So let's start with I'm gonna start with Nishinoya. Now with Nishinoya, like he was a very he's very intense and very heartfelt character who really, he only wanted to play because of with Asahi because of, everything they went through, the whole Ace thing. Um, Sugawara. There you go. That's what it was. Um, oh no, Sugawara is the other guy. Tanaka and Ryunosuke Tanaka. Yeah, that's what it is. All right. Yeah, I told you I would look it up. I'll talk a little about Tsukishima as well as the other guy, Yamaguchi. who's I talking about? Nishinoya, but he's a very good libero, uh, aka the person that goes in and out, and really good defender. So skill wise, he's a very likable character because he has that sort of he has a little bit of the perversion side, of course. The whole reason why he came to Karasuno, because of the girls' uniforms, and he has like a really he's kind of very but very intense, and he's very cool according to the teammates. So he's a very likable character. His faults being he's not a very good setter. He's okay at serving and okay can't really block, but you know it's fine. He doesn't have too many character flaws except that he can get too intense. That make him sort of human, but it's not that bad. Tsukishima, I mean, he was mostly unlikable, purposely unlikable, but there were times where he was kind of funny and likable when he made fun of certain things, like the opponents, or even sometimes Hinata. It was kind of funny. Uh, so yeah, I mean him. I'm not. I mean Yamaguchi. He's just kind of He's just kind of there until the very end of the anime, the season where he makes a blunder and fucks up. So there's really nothing worth talking about with him. Um, when it comes to, I guess, Sugawara, who's again a very, very amicable person, but at the same time, he's the only person that can lecture the captain, um, and so he has sort of like this weird duality with him, and I mean, he's overall likable, and he wants to fight for his position because he knows Kageyama is a better, more talented setter, but he doesn't want to lose. And so I often felt bad for him a lot, because I really wanted to see him play more because he's so nice and just so like he connects really well with the team. Daichi, he's very energetic, very commanding. There's a lot to the way he can just control the energy of the team and sort of guide them in the right direction. And there's not much else to not Asahi, Daichi yet. Asahi is who I'm getting to next. He was a little bit more rough around the edges because he was basically a coward, even though he looks like an old man. Which that joke was really good, by the way. And the whole rough around the edges thing, but he's starting to come into his own. The whole ace thing. My only issue with him is that he doesn't shine enough as an ace because he's supposed to be the ace of the team, and yet he wasn't shown getting enough points in each game. He was almost shown like just a powerhouse that needs to come in every now and then. Um, so that's my only complaint with his character. As for let's see, yeah, I mean as for Tanaka, he's pretty good. He's pretty funny. I like him and his, Korra, that whole gangster yakuza type of accent and attitude. It's funny, and his face, the whole gangster face that he does is it's brilliant. And his counterpart at Nekoma doing the same fucking thing. It's just oh man, wonderful. So I mean the captain's fine, or not the captain, the coach is fine. The sensei's fine, and Shizumu is non-existent except for very few scenes in the anime. Luckily, in the manga, she starts to get more. Um, I'm just spoiling that, but I'm letting you guys know if you haven't read the manga yet that she does actually have speaking parts in the manga. I think she might have had even more in the story that the anime covered, and that maybe they just chose to keep her silent. But she does have more of a role, I promise, and so she does have a point. But as for the anime, no. She's pretty much just eye candy for the guys, and that's it. So I guess we'll talk about Kageyama next. Um, I really like Kageyama. I really do. The way he's turned out, where he started off at such a like he's such a cocky ass person, but at the same time, this intensity and this love for the game, and ultimately, very early on, which again I like, is that his love for the game supersedes his pride and cockiness, where he starts to actually accept other people into his team and accept that he it's he has to work with them. They don't have to necessarily work with him, um, and so he learns that very quickly. And him and Hinata, the dynamic the two of them have are really good. And his seriousness and his the scary scenes with him are just brilliant. Um, and the whole thing with Tsukishima where he's like, uh, he's like, how was that toss, Kura? How was that toss, damn it? And they're like, you're not friggin' Tanaka, okay? Why are you talking like that? That was just fucking great. Uh, Now I guess I'll talk about Hinata now. Hinata, I don't actually mind. I'm, I think a lot of people were probably, if you're watching this, you probably expected me to say I don't like Hinata because typically, if you watch my other reviews, typically you'll see that I have a somewhat of a dislike for the type of earnest protagonist um, that Hinata is. Now, let me clarify here. I don't hate that archetype. I hate when that archetype is done poorly, like any other character archetype. It has a place in shonen. Obviously, it has a place in good shonen, I should say. But it has to be done right. And I think Hinata is done mostly right in the anime, at least. There are some problems in the manga later on that I kind of run into, but there it's also sort of realistic. But I'm going to talk about, I don't particularly mind his character. He's very earnest. He's very, he wants to become the ace. He has, all these dreams and goals, but he's really not that annoying. Not really. Um, he has the gimmick, he has this gimmick of being able to jump high and, you know, has very good speed. He has very high athletic ability because he practiced over and over. So I don't particularly mind him having that type of power, um, so to speak. It, and there's no bullshit power ups because typically one of the things that off puts me from that archetype is that this earnest sort of idealistic character protagonist always gets the bullshit power ups. Natsu, fucking Naruto. I, there's too many to count. I'm sorry, there are way too many. Um, and it just, yeah, those are characters that are done wrong, absolutely horribly wrong in that archetype. Hinata, more or less, is okay. Hinata doesn't get these bullshit power ups. When he struggles with things, he legitimately struggles with them. It's not, oh, I need power, therefore I'm going to have it. Hinata loses. He loses. And sometimes he comes out on top. And that's realistic. You don't, as hard as you practice, as hard as you try, you don't always win. And so I really like that about, Haikyuu and Hinata in general, is that he works his hardest, which I admire. First off, Natsu and Naruto, even though they were hard workers, they started just at some point they just got lazy and just started getting bullshit power ups whenever, you know, and just getting power ups out of nowhere without any kind of hard work. Hinata has genuinely worked for every single thing he's gotten. And so there's no power-ups in the middle of a game. He's not all of a sudden getting stronger. He's not all of a sudden getting taller. If he has a wall that's unblockable or unbreakable, he doesn't break through. That's just simply how it is. And so I do I do like Hinata's character at some junctures. He can be annoying at times, but honestly, he's overall not that annoying. He's not so bad, in fact. So I give him a pass. As far as who I liken him to, he's actually a mix, in my opinion, of Kuroko from Kuroko no Basket and Sakuragi from Slam Dunk. Why do I say this? Well, he has. I'm not gonna really spoil anything from either series, but I'm going to explain something about the characters. Um, you know, Sakuragi from Slam Dunk has, he has a lot of natural athletic ability. He has very little skill, at least in the beginning of the series. Whether or not he gets that later, I guess I'm not gonna say. Um, but at least at the beginning of the series, he has no talent for basketball. But what he does have is amazing athletic ability and jumping power. Sound familiar? So, what he's good for in basketball is rebounding. That's his gimmick. In Kuroko no Basket, Kuroko has, again, very little, he has very little athletic ability, on the other hand. However, he's very short, which is where Hinata comes in. For Kuroko, is the short, um, often likened to a child appearance. And so Hinata has a little bit of both of that, and Kuroko's thing was passing. So yeah, so there's sort of a mix where he kind of has Kuroko's sort of height. In fact, he's shorter than Kuroko, and but with the athletic ability of Sakuragi. And so yeah, but he also has Kuroko's ability to improve that for sure. So I do kind of liken him to that, and it's not bad. Both characters are very good. Both Kuroko and Sakuragi are good characters, solid characters. So if he was inspired from them, who gives a shit? They were great characters. Um, I love Kuroko, despite the fact that I don't like Kagami. I freaking love Kuroko, and Sakuragi was great. He was a great character. Uh, so yeah, I guess that's that. I'll talk a little bit about some of the opposition. Like I'm not going to mention too many of them. Like they were generally likable for the most part. Like Nekoma's Ten Kenma, that's what his name is. Kenma was pretty likable for the most part. He was smart and had some certain, gimmicks to him as well, like, the smart analyzing ability. As well, and the one, Oikawa, the one, who was just over top awesome and had fucking Hisoka's voice actor. Oh my gosh, that creepy ass man from Japan. Oh shit, that guy is awesome. So yeah. Anyway, he was awesome. So yeah. And now I guess I'll talk a little bit about the matches to kind of close this out because it's a little long-winded and I'm starting to run out of voice. I'm like Zebra. I can only use so much of my voice before it gets scratchy. Um, so yeah. So the practice matches were good, very good. The practice match against Alba Josai was very good. Um, and then the very end with Oikawa was awesome. Even though, Karasuno won because Oikawa didn't know about the gimmick. The quick, the freak quick. And so, they lost. Now, the one against Nekoma was even better, and they lost that match. It was a really close match, and it was really cool to watch, just like this back and forth shit. Now the game against the team I cannot remember, the very first ones in the Inner High, um, the one with Daichi's friend, was good, but it was short. It wasn't bad, and I really did like the parallel between them and Karasuno's girls team, where they just didn't give up and they both lost. Again, showing that even if you train, if you practice as hard as you can, you're not guaranteed to win because everybody else is doing the same. Everybody's shooting for number one. That's the point. And the match against Dateko was also very, very good. It was very hype, intense. Getting past that iron wall was, it was great development for Asahi, especially because Dateko they had blocked all of Asahi's spikes in the previous game, which is what took him out in the first place. Um, and so, yeah, that was a great match, and it involved a lot of back and forth, a lot of can we really win this? Yes, we can. Um, type of moments, which are good because it gives you a real sense of not necessarily they're definitely gonna win. Like, holy shit, are they gonna win? Like, I mean, I knew they were gonna win, but the author did a good enough job to suspend my beliefs enough to say, okay, maybe they might not win. They may not. Um, and lastly, the match against Alba Josai was unfucking believable. It was awesome. Oikawa was in the whole thing, and they lost by 2 points. They lost in a fucking deuce shootout. Like, that was so hype. Where, they won the first set, and then Karasuno wins the second set with all this new shit. Thanks to Sugawara and Kageyama at the same time. And Hinata, of course. And then the third one is just a shootout, a straight shootout, to the point where, and the very end was just amazing, where he's like, Tobio, aka Kageyama, you will eventually surpass me, probably, but not today. And again, even though they had all the friendship speeches in the world in that particular match, which were fine, but mind you, they had friendship speeches. They had all kinds of lessons learned on Karasuno's side. Everything that in a normal shonen would point to the fact that they are going to win this match no matter what. After all that, they still lost. Hinata's spike gets blocked because of Oikawa knew for a fact that Kageyama was going to go for the godlike quick to Hinata, the freak quick. He knew. He read Kageyama. And so it was brilliant. It was beautiful. It was such an intense match, and the conclusion was so well done. I can't complain about it at all. Um, it was so beautiful, and so I really applaud the author for that. I really do, because it seemed so hard like they were gonna win, but they just didn't. They almost did it, but they just couldn't close it out, and that was brilliant. I know I keep saying that, but it really was. In the typical shonen formula, it just doesn't happen this way that often. Where there's all these speeches and there's all this, and usually there's a power up involved. Nope, no power ups. None of that. There were no bullshit power ups in the middle of a match. They didn't suddenly get stronger. They did improve, realistically, um, but never out of nowhere and for no reason. They didn't suddenly get faster. They didn't get suddenly stronger, you know, and they were the worst, they were the lesser team, and they lost. So, um, I mean, that's honestly about it. The music was fine. I liked it. Probably check the soundtrack later. First opening was better than the second opening. Uh, I didn't care for the endings too much. They weren't bad, but they weren't that good. Uh, I did recognize the second opening singer though. He's from Full Metal, pretty sure. Brotherhood, specifically. Opening three. Uh, Let me see. The animation was pretty good. Uh, the art style is kind of grating, and so like of the manga, it's not that bad, but it's not really that good either for a shonen standard. So for the animation to do what they did, I mean, I think it's pretty good. Uh, yeah, I mean that's about it. I really like Haikyuu. I'm on chapter 91 as of this recording, which is the Monday the 20th, and yeah, I'm enjoying the fuck out of it at this point. I'm gonna keep reading, hopefully catch up soon, and hopefully we'll have some Haikyuu reviews for you soon. But as of right now, I'm saying this is a pretty damn good anime, and we'll see you guys in another video.